Welcome back to Good Germs Off-Road Adventures, and welcome back to the shop. Well, we're on our way to the shop, but welcome back to the shop when we get, to the shop. We've got a bit of an interesting one today, one that we haven't yet seen on the channel, but is one of my absolute favorite things to work on. Okay, now we're gonna welcome you back to the shop. What we have today is one of my absolute favorite cars to work on. It is a 2011 Chevrolet Camaro SS. And as you can see, this car is beautiful. I'll admit, I've always been a bit of a Ford guy, but I've got an obsession over this particular car. This is just a wonderful machine. So we have this thing in the shop today because the owner had a little bit of troubles. So we're going to put the code reader on it, see what kind of codes we pull, if any. And we are going to go ahead and do the spark plugs because this thing is on around about 100,000 miles and, well, it probably needs it. Anyway, stick around. All right, let's have a look at the inside of this thing. And keep in mind, this is a 2011. This thing, it's like brand new here on the inside. And I am not kidding. Okay, well, let's see what kind of codes we're going to get out of this thing. If I can figure out how to put the key in the ignition. Okay. So like I was saying, we're going to go ahead and change the spark plugs on this thing anyway, but you did see we do have a cylinder 3 misfire code. Even though it sounded just fine when it pulled in here, that was set as a pending code, so I don't know exactly the difference between stored, pending, and permanent, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and get the cover off the engine and get into it. So what I mean by cover is, this thing. We just need to get this off of there. I think we have to take the oil fill neck thing off, and there's a B right there. Let's see if we can get the B to not fall into the engine. Let's put this back on it, and then we'll get that B out of there. We'll evict him from his home. We don't want him there anymore. Okay, so now with the B evicted, we'll take this off, and then this thing should just, do that. There we go. And there's the top of the, the LS3, I think. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and put this thing back on here. We don't want anything falling into the engine, accidentally. That'd be bad. Okay. So I know it might be a little tricky to see, but this is cylinder 3 down in here, and a lot of people with this light that came on, so the light that came on the dash was the StabiliTrak Error, and apparently that can mean one of about a dozen different things on these Camaros and probably other GM products. But a lot of people have noticed they get that, they get a misfire code, and then they go to check that spark plug wire, and well, it's fallen off. But, you know, this is our number 3 guy right here. Seems fine, but we're going to go ahead and, you know, pull all the plug wires off and replace on these here spark plugs. Okay, well, let's just, you know, get these old plugs out of here. Yep. Now, seeing that this car just drove in here, the engine, well, it's hot. Mm-hmm. And how hot is that? Very is how hot that is. Let's see. Let's try the large one first, and we'll start back here on number 7. I think the large one is too large. And then let's try the smaller one. I think it's going to be the smaller one. Ow. Okay, so that's right next to the exhaust manifold. And let me tell you, that exhaust manifold is still about the temperature of the sun down there. Well, we're just going to go ahead and do a bit of a time lapse while we get all these plugs and probably plug wires out. It's a Camaro. You know, what kind of music do you want? I say, let's do some rock and roll. Well, with some arguing, we managed to get all the plugs out and the plug wires, so let's go over and take a look at them. All right, well, as you can see here, we have all of our spark plugs, and they're laid out as they came off the engine there, you know, 1, 3, 5, 7, 2, 4, 6, 8, and their respective wires. Now, if you recall, we had a code for a misfire on cylinder 3, P0303. And that's this guy right here. But I wonder why that could be. Why would we have a misfire? Also alarming was cylinder 4 was probably thinking about it here real soon. And then finally, let's check the gap. Now these plugs, car has roughly somewhere around about 100,000 miles. Spark plugs are supposed to gap at about 40 thousandths, which is right there. Excuse, you know, the Band-Aid. I had to go find my first aid kit. Apparently, the car felt there was some extra skin on my finger I didn't need, so it took it. Anyway, 40 thousandths about right there. Let's just grab number 3 and see where it comes at. A little tight. Interesting. Number 1, just a little over. Not too bad. Guess the plugs aren't in too bad a shape. This one's right at about 40. Well, that's good. This one's right at about 40. Well, good. The gaps are about right. I'm not sure about the electrodes. Probably okay, but, you know, we're going to go ahead and get our new plugs ready and get those going. In the meantime, the owner of the car went up to the parts store to get you know, more plug wires, because I don't think that's going to go much farther, and I'm pretty certain this was the reason for our misfire code. Now this was in the car, like this, and then just went to go touch it, and it came apart, so it's probably why it was running okay, but why it ran rough, and then she had a problem, and then it was okay. Probably intermittent on that. Anyway, let's show you the new plugs. So we're just going to go ahead and put these Bosch plugs in. We're going to go ahead and get these gapped and go ahead and put them in while we're waiting on the wires to show up. Okay, well, we've got all the plugs in and the new plug wires in, so we're going to go ahead, step inside the car, reset the code, and then we'll start it and see, see how she behaves. Okay, well, we've cleared the code. Let's go ahead and start it and see how she does. I'd say she sounds pretty sweet. Yep. Okay. I think that'll do. Okay, we've got that put back on. We, meaning me and the mouse that's in my pocket, but we're done here. Well, that's going to do it for today. Hopefully that solves, the issue with the Camaro, because I love this car and I only like it coming back to me for maintenance, not repairs. But anyway, thanks for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. If you wouldn't mind, go do the whole subscribe, like, comment, share thing. It really, truly helps quite a bit. In the meantime, we'll see you later.